Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the Motor City and Michigan International Speedway for another live broadcast from CRN of the CORE Xfinity Series. This is race number 7 for the boys, so this will put them halfway through the regular season, or just about there. 15 races in the regular season. So we'll start to get an eye on that playoff picture and who's going to be getting their name in the hat there. And it's pretty interesting how everything has been unfolding so far. But I mean, I know the official or unofficial home, or whatever you want to call it, of CORE is Kansas Speedway. But I'll be damned if I don't like some 2-mile tri-oval action, and I know my partner in the booth here is going to say the same thing. Carl Lambert joined in the booth by Jimmy Covert. Jimmy, welcome to Michigan, buddy.
Oh, we're back. We're back. One of the best tracks out there. I just think it provides some of the best racing, not only in real life, but here in iRacing as well. So many lanes, so many strategic abilities that you can hear. I mean, obviously the draft helps here some, but it's not necessary. A driver can walk away here if you let them. So we'll see how these drivers tackle this 2-mile track of just awesomeness. There's no other word to say it's awesome. I think every time we've been here, almost, I have to say 99% of the time, said Carl, and you don't know what's going to happen. The finishes have been wild. The racing's been great, and just looking forward to another great show here.
Yeah, it looks like we got 21 drivers on tap here, ready to go. We got some of the usual faces. We got some new names that are some old names that are going to be hopping in here as well, and should see them creeping up towards the top of the boards. But take a look at the standings real quick, running in here. And after a little bit of a crazy ending last week, a little controversial ending, we got some updates on the standings, and it is Alan Elwood on top of the board by 30 over his teammate Nico Garcia. 47 back is Daniel Wiles in third. Then in the silver division, AJ Connors 5 over Tyler Bramble, 32 over David Tilford, and in the bronze it is John Crane 19 over Joe Thomas, 29 over Dan Phelps. But we're not going to mess around too much with the standings with any kind of recap from last week, because Jimmy, these drivers are down there already gridding up. We're done with qualifying. Why don't you give us a rundown of the order?
Yeah, quick rundown of the order here tonight and the way they will start. But Alan Elwood back on top with the pole, followed by Nico Garcia, Craig Jancic, Daniel Wiles, Tyler Bramble, Kelly Pointer, Caleb Collins, Josh Western. Mark Gonzalez makes a surprise showing back here in the series. Dave Tilford, Bryce Rayner, John Williams, Jeremy Gainey, Matt Crockett, Dan Phelps, Casey Phelps, Diego Remy, Tony Bramble, Joseph Thomas, John Crane, and Shane Therian. So 21 car field here tonight. You know, it is going to be I think a good one. You know, don't count these guys out that might be starting in the back, as like anything can happen here at Michigan.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that 3 there, Shane Therian, just like starting in the back. It just seems like, you know, whether he doesn't get a time in, whether he's got a penalty, he's got to start from the back on purpose, or whatever it is. Just I think he's more comfortable just driving through the field on that first run and really getting a feel for the track. But a lot of times it puts him just at a small little disadvantage when it gets to the end. He's battling his teammates up there, Nico Garcia and Alan Elwood. But certainly keep an eye on that 3 as he comes through the field. But yeah, as you mentioned, good to see Mark Gonzalez back out there in the field, and word is possibly his brother Ricky Gonzalez may be on his way back as well, and finally joining back in with the other CORE family. But the 29 out there, new number 4, Mark Gonzalez, certainly one to keep an eye on for his first race back out here. But he's going to find some stiffer competition since he last raced in here, and it's not just going to be an easy walk in the park. But 70 laps here on tap, and excuse me, it's Michigan. It's going to be a good one. I love these 2-mile tri-ovals. They put on a great show. Love seeing them fan out 2, 3, 4, 5 wide in these corners, and we're about to see that here, and it's going to be a good one. I know I'm hyping it up so much, and all I can do is probably let me down at this point, but I don't care. It's great. I'm looking forward to it. Alan Elwood on the pole again, and he's won quite a few times from the pole, but he's got his teammate up there, second in points, Nico Garcia right there, and you know he'd love to get one over on him here tonight at Michigan. Pace car is off. We're about to fire these drivers off. It is in the hands of Barney to get this thing fired away. That's a flight cam right there, not the right flight cam. There's Barney. And we are racing here at Michigan.
Underway, and There they go, 2x2 down at the turn number 1. Very easy corner. There's many different lines here. You got the high, you got the low, and it really does, you know, it's depending on position here, because them cars love to float to that outside wall. You're going to see it probably later in the race. We're in it right now, but you're going to see them cars playing like a little bit of daredevil with that outside there, especially coming out of 2. But down here into 3 on the exit of 4, very wide, but caution is out.
Oh, and it is involving big impact there for the man that we talked about. The man returning the 29 of Mark Gonzalez is not even going to be making it back to the pits without the help of the tow truck. Big impact right there. And I'm wondering if some cold tires played a part into that one. Try and take a look back and see exactly what happened. And it looks like the 29 and the 57. The 57 may be coming down, making the contact. Gets the 29 sideways. And that's just about all she wrote right there, as collecting quite a few drivers. You see Shane Therian down there at the bottom trying to get by. Impact there with Joe Thomas. And then hard impact there from Tony Bramble, getting the 29 upside down. And you see that front tire eventually getting ripped off of the car. And, man, that is not the way that Mark Gonzalez wanted to come back here in the series. But he's going to have to tow back to pit lane and maybe salvage this thing from a little bit further back in the field now, as I think a few drivers had to travel back to pit lane from there. We'll take a look at that thing one more time from on board the 29. And certainly hold your cookies and get ready for a little bit of a wild ride. And you hear right there, even if the tire was still on the car, the engine did go up for him. So a lot of drivers coming into the pits right there, and whether just top it off on fuel, and I'm sure there's a lot that are getting some repairs done. It's one of those things, Jimmy. These drivers do have one fast repair that they can use, but man, you don't want to use it on lap 1. But this is a fast track. You can't just be out there running without a clean car.
No, you don't want to have to use it on lap 1, but it might be a necessity here to save your race, or at least give you the opportunity. Now you got to play, a little bit on the safer side, as you've been involved in your one mulligan, as we call it, and these drivers are going to have to just take their time, work their way through the field, kind of methodically, and maybe a move they would add a little more aggression they might not take, especially here with having plenty of laps still remaining. As I'm on replay. We're only 3 laps in, so definitely plenty of great racing, and already welcome back to iRacing, Mark. But definitely gonna have to. I'm sure he'll replay that, and it's, I think, a combination between the two. Obviously, the 29 drifting up a little bit, and that 57 coming down at the exact same time. They kind of maybe met in the middle, but things happen. Back on the track, we're gonna get going racing here very shortly, as I think this time by. Yeah, pace car lights are out. Off on the pace car. Looks like both the 39 of Tony Bramble and the 29 of Mark Gonzalez back out there. They are 2 laps down. And they for sure would have needed to use their fast repair, as both of them had to tow back into the pits from that wreck. So we'll see if we get some more cautions and get them back up there and battling. But man, that's a tough restart to his core career for the 29. But out front it is Alan Elwood, as he had a little bit of his hands full there on that opening lap with Nico Garcia. We'll see if Garcia pressures him again. Daniel Wiles, Kelly Pointer, Tyler Bramble, your top 5. And you notice that there's a lot less red this week, as these drivers are starting to finally find their way into their divisions. Only 2 more drivers out there in the field tonight, Craig Jancic and Diego Remy, that have yet to be placed in a division. But I believe after this race, they will be 5 races in and will be placed in a division. So we'll have our gold, silver, and bronze drivers all sorted out.
We're not going green. Not going green.
It's like a bit of an issue back in the back. Not sure what happened here. Oh man, Looks like Tony Bramble, I'm not sure what exactly started, but Tony Bramble trying to catch back up to the field. And I don't know if he just wasn't paying attention, but he seen Dan Phelps right at the last second, and that is major impact after just getting a fast repair done. And we are going to be going under one more lap of caution. Certainly going to be looked at by the admins after this, as that was a head scratcher for sure for the 039. So we'll take one more lap of caution, and taking a look back, it looks like actually both Tony Bramble and Mark Gonzalez are only going to be one lap down, so that's even better for them. They'll both be battling for the lucky dog, or could very well use a wave around if we get a quick caution here. But under caution on lap number 5, still we're going to get going, hopefully this time by. So Jimmy, you get to a track like this. Obviously, me and you love this track. We love broadcasting the track. It can get a little more hairy, a little more sketchy in the car because you're going 2, 3, 4, 5 wide in these corners. So, I mean, is it a different mentality on a track like this? Is it a track where you know you have all those lines, so you try and get everything that you can real quick, or is it one that you just let some guys waste their tires first and then charge to the field?
This track will eat some tires up pretty quickly, and you can rip off some good fast laps, but it's kind of
Green flag.
Yeah, you can start off, and burn up your tires if you want to. I mean, some drivers like to do that if you got some serious race pace afterwards on some used tires, but I always tend to be a little easier on the tires here, as I tend to burn them up too fast. So I find that if I just wait just a little bit, let the faster guys or even a lot of cars around me burn up their tires, my tires would they would go a little more evenly, and I would be able to catch back up and make the spots back up. So it's just kind of where you want to be and how much positions you want to have to make up throughout the field. And but you can see these drivers right now, obviously trying to get things rolling here, as we have some early race. I'll just call them shenanigans because I'm not quite sure what's going on right at the moment. We'll have to be debunked later, but yeah, right now Alan Elwood out front with Nico Garcia into then Daniel Wiles right there and Kelly Pointer. So I want to give a shout out to, obviously you got Dave Tilford and Matt Crockett back there. And Matt Crockett being the highest bronze driver at the moment in that number 10. And, we've seen Matt maybe not get a chance to be out here on the track as often as he's gotten involved with his kid in some baseball. So it's good to see the 10 back out on the track.
Yeah, his kid's head football coach, and by the sounds of it, it's just as demanding as it is out here on the track. So either way, he's got his hands full whether he's on the track or not. But doing a good job out there right now inside the top 10, as you mentioned. And the next closest bronze driver back there, John Williams in 13th. But Williams certainly had a fast car, as he qualified right there in 12th, and that's where he's running right now. So good job by both of these drivers. At least at the start of this race, I know John Williams involved in that first incident, but looks like he's back out there. He's regained his starting spot, and these guys are getting after it.
John's going to have to do some proving that Baby Blue deserves to be up front, because it just likes to collect all the misses. So John had some tough breaks there early on, and they did try to get keep things going here early. But right now, like you said, he's sitting there in a pretty decent position and back up the P number 12. But here comes Shane Therian in the number 3. All the work from the back of the pack. He's now on that rear bumper of Dave Tilford. He got by that first incident just kind of barely by going down on the grass. He's taking the off track instead of the off track and the X. That some of these drivers try to maintain that clean record for them extra points, but sometimes it isn't necessary to take the avoiding action. So maybe to save that fast repair. And to me, that fast repair is better in the pocket than already burn up there early on. So a good move. I think definitely the car to watch is the 3. as he's on his way forward.
Yeah, 15 positions as of right now, up to 6th place, and now on the inside of Jancic for 5th. And you know, these guys from Elwood Designs love to go 1, 2, 3 if they can, and looking like they got some pretty fast race cars out here again, already sitting 1st and 2nd, and now to the inside is Therian battling for 5th. So 3 out of the top 5 right now are the Elwood Design cars. So they're the team to beat for sure, but some other pretty good teams out there as well. I don't see Mike Moultrie in the field here tonight, so Daniel Wiles running solo, running by himself, and doing everything that he can just to hang up with these guys up front. He's doing a good job right now in 3rd place.
Yeah, just doing what he needs to do, get it done here, and he doesn't have the assistance of a teammate out on the track, so kind of got to do it solo tonight. But you know, you also have Kelly Pointer up there, and been known to have some great races throughout the CORE, you know, and showing that he has a little bit of speed here tonight. Shane Therian now moves up into P number 5, so move him up to 16 spots, looking to track down these front runners right now. And then Craig and Jancic are right behind him. He's falling back a few spots from the start, but I think he might be playing a little more of a long game here. Maybe he's trying to save some of the tires, and maybe that's why he's falling back a few spots. And then let's see, the other person, Tyler Bramble in the 39 is drop pack. So you know, you might have maybe he burned up his tires, or maybe he's just looking to hold on to his tires a little bit longer. Like I said, some drivers might be looking for a little bit longer game, and then some of these other guys. So just some of the cars to watch out for. Obviously, the 3 of Shane Therian on the move up towards the front right now, and some of these drivers that started towards the front, kind of back in the middle of the pack. We'll see if they can come alive here towards the end of their stint.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting when you look at it, and judging by the results, it looks like Craig Jancic will most likely end up in the gold division. So, I mean, when you look at the standings here, once it's now cleared up with a lot of that red gone and these guys in the correct divisions, it starts to take shape and it starts to make sense. I mean, you see those gold drivers at the front of the field, see the silver kind of mixed in throughout the middle, and then the bronze drivers kind of make up that rest of the field. And it's, you know, it's not to shame anybody. It's not to, hey, look at me for some of the guys at the top. It's so these drivers out there, you know, don't feel like they have to compete with the top guys every week. You know, if you have some guys that are in the race that are you know, just learning, or they just don't have the speed as some of these other guys, or don't have the the ability to save tires or fuel like some of these other drivers, they still have a chance to compete for something. And you know, that's what you're seeing towards the back of the field here. You see Tyler Bramble right now in the silver division, and he's got his hands full with that 57 of John Williams in the bronze division. And John certainly up there looking for a chance to get his name up there in the standings as well in that bronze class. But it's tough sledding, especially up there in the gold division, and that's where you find these two guys right here, and really the top 3, or the top 3 in points. Elwood, Garcia, and Wiles. I'm sure both Elwood and Garcia and Wiles would like to have Elwood behind them so they can maybe catch up a little bit in the points, but it's been tough getting around that 5 and keeping that 5 behind you at all times this year.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere right now on his teammate Nico, so you know, and then Daniel Wiles right there, not too far behind. So those front few right now, just kind of obviously the top 3 got run. There's a tail. Kelly's, you know, starting to look like that giraffe really needs to like start either taking effect, or he just needs to maintain his pace, saving tires, and hopefully those 3 out in front of him end up slowing down just a little bit faster than he does. And then you still got to watch Shane Therian back there at P5, so looking to catch up to Kelly and gobble up that P4 position. You see some pushing going back there behind Shane between the 97 and the 90. So Craig Jancic and Bryce Rain are kind of working together, hopefully, you know, together to catch up to the drivers that have they've lost her at the moment. So a good pack there of 5 right behind Shane.
Yeah, whether Jancic wanted to help or not, he was getting it from Ryder down that front stretch as they're trying to keep up with this lead pack, which is really a three-car breakaway at the front as Elwood, Garcia, and Wiles have all checked out by about a second over Kelly Pointer in 4th place, who's kind of running by himself. He's got about 1/8 of a second lead over Shane Therian, who is in 5th place. But then you got the battle right behind them, starting with Craig Jancic, and you see the rest of them, Reiner right there, Caleb Collins right there, Tilford, Crockett right in the mix, and Bramble not so far behind. We talked about all these different lanes. You're going to see the kind of one lane develop as the preferred line, what they think is a faster line out here through both these corners. But it's not like it's defined. Like, it's not like that's the line you have to run. And if you need to go to a different line to pass, that's where you'll see all those different lines develop and come into play. You've seen going through the corner there, Crockett running that high line. And especially once these drivers are out there on fresh tires, on a restart, anything like that, that's when you'll see them fan out all over the place.
Yeah, you see, obviously, you have the biggest, we're looking at that pack of 5, Crockett running a little bit higher line. A little more comfortable, maybe be closer to the wall inside of the other drivers. It's definitely not a bad line, and we've seen it work here, and it's just a matter of time before it comes to life as the track gets rubbered in and the wear and tear on the tires starts playing a bigger play.
Taking a look back in the field here, Joe Thomas just passing Casey Phelps here for 16th place. They were doing battle for quite a little bit. Checking in on Mark Gonzalez. He is technically right now in P12, but fortunately, since he's a lap down, he's trying to work his way back, scraping the wall there a little bit. That's not the way to keep that car clean. Again, he did have to use his faster pair already, as did Tony Bramble at the back, but we are running lean and green since the restart here. We are completing lap number 20 this time by. We're going to have 50 laps to go already here in Michigan.
And 20 laps already?
Absolutely. You get these drivers hot and ready with one little caution early, and they want to get to it. And you take a look at that track map, and the dots are starting to spread out a little bit. The Skittles are starting to spread out, and we don't have too many more colors of Skittles anymore. Maybe for one race, we'll have to separate it out and throw some limes in there and some purples and
lemon, cherry, and some brown ones, Carl.
Those are the M&Ms that somebody mixed in there just to be a dick. I've done that once or twice in some office settings. Mix some M&Ms in with the Skittles just to really throw some people off. Yeah, absolutely. You expect anything less?
No.
Now the gray ones out there, I don't know what the gray ones are. That's a dealer's choice at that point. I don't think I'd eat those at all, whatever they are. No offense to Caleb, David, and Tyler out there, but
Nibble at your own risk. Good times. Definitely having good times here at Michigan. Alan Elwood out front. You see, I think Nico looking just a little bit to see what might work on his teammate there, and maybe get that 51 for some lap sled here as he continues. Maybe some fuel saving? I don't know. I think these first 3 drivers right now are pretty content just knocking out these laps.
I gotta say, I think the driver that's most content right now is this 90 of Bryce Reiner. I mean, I don't know if he's just an ultra fuel save mode or what. Of course, now as we key on him, he's gonna go for a pass on Jansen, but it seemed like he was just more than welcome to just be tucked in behind that 97 for the longest time, push him down the straightaways, whether he was saving fuel or what the case was. But now he finally goes around and takes over 6th position and puts Craig Jansen back another spot. But this could be why we've got pit stops, and how about this? How about the top 3 all coming in together? Alan Elwood, Nico Garcia, Daniel Wiles, and David Tilford is going to join him down there on pit road for the first pit stop. And again, we had a few guys under the first caution there coming into the pits just to take a little splash and dash to get out of there. But we still have 3 cars that have yet to hit pit road altogether. Kelly Pointer, first one out there and in the lead right now, has yet to touch pit road, as has Matt Crockett and Tyler Bramble back there in 6th and 7th. So should be seeing these drivers come in the next few laps. And I think I already hear Kelly Pointer. Yep, he is slowing down and bringing in the pits. Shane Therian going to follow him behind. Great job getting these cars woed down to speed, and you see that yellow cone. You got to be down to pace speed by that cone, and pit road starting to get busy. Bryce Reiner, now your leader out front. Hey, what do you know? Now it's Craig Jancic that is right behind him. But we'll see how long both Reiner and Jancic decide to stay out. You see, losing almost a full lap here, going into the pits from the lead, as you see the drivers in the lead right behind Dave Tilfer right now, who came in from up there inside the top 10. But already Dave Tilfer checking out. Those fresh tires are going to do a big number, and here comes your leader at the time, Bryce Reiner, into the pits, getting it woed down. Now Craig Jancic going to take over the lead, but Caleb Collins would love to lead a lap before he comes into the pits, and he is all over the back of that 97, but can he make the pass? Does he have the fuel to maybe go around one more lap? It's definitely hit time here at Michigan, and only the top 6 drivers have yet to come in the pits, that being Jancic, Collins, Williams, Van Westen, Remy, and Dan Phelps. We'll see this time if the 97 or 90 decide to come in. The 97 is definitely coming in, as is the 72, not the 90. 90 already came in last time, as Jancic doing everything he can. I don't know if he got it woed down or not, but whether he did or not, heck of a save on top of the save on top of the save there from the 97. I know he's quite a bit of a road racer, as we cover him over there in CSRL, but he needed to use every bit of oval, road, dirt road, whatever skills he got to get that thing woed up in time to get in the pits. We'll keep an eye on the times, see if he gets out. But Jimmy, your boy, he still doesn't have the Western paint scheme on there, but Josh Van Westen is your leader here at Michigan. He has yet to come into the pits, and looks like he's rolling up. He is going to come in this time.
You know, if he doesn't get a Western paint scheme, I might just have to send you a Toy Story paint scheme with Woody on the front, so we can override his paint scheme, and then we'll be set. So, but anyways, Weston Co finally come bring it down, getting a lap led there. So a lot of people getting a lap led there with those few drivers able to come into the pits early and utilize them caution laps to get a couple extra laps out there. And you've seen how close it was with some of the drivers coming down the pit entry, and hopefully that big slide there, by the one driver there, who was it? Jancic. That pays out for him. Maybe it was faster than just coming in, but it's definitely tends to not be. Obviously, you lose a lot of time and trying to recover. But we will see how things roll out here. But it looks like everything is about done. Alan Elwood back out front, and the gap has grown to 3.7 seconds over Nico Garcia.
Yeah, nobody ended up getting a penalty on that first round of pit stops, and that includes Craig Jancic. He was able to get that car mowed down and into the pits on time. But yeah, as you mentioned, the gap is growing, and it was very small in between first, second, and third. It is not anymore. The second and third still pretty tight, about 0.3 of a second between Garcia and Wiles. But you see the pit lap time. I can get it on there. There we go. And that is a major disparity right there. 42.5 seconds for Alan Elwood, 44.9 for Nico Garcia. It didn't make up for that entire gap that it is right now, but that is a good chunk right there that Alan Elwood was able to pick up on the entire field, having a very quick pit stop for taking 4 tires. Now, some of the drivers that came down... Some of the drivers that came down, though, did not take 4 tires. It looks like some took 2, some took none at all. So, varying strategies here early on. And, realistically, it was on lap 23, 24, 25 when these drivers came into the pits for this first time. And if that's the case, we're going to be looking at least 1, maybe even 2 more pit stops before this thing is over. So, maybe you don't necessarily take tires on every one of these pit stops.
They get a few set of tires. How many sets do they get?
They got 2 sets of tires in pit lane. 3. 3? Okay.
Tire set limit in the race is 3. So, yeah.
Yeah, it always confuses me whether that means 3 including the ones on the car, or if that means actually 3 in the pits.
I thought it was 3 behind the wall. I don't know. I guess I'll just have to get into one of these races and figure out what you're doing on the track. Tire count.
Just doing some auditing. Just don't mind me.
And this would have been a great track. I love this track. I don't mind racing this track at all. So probably one of my favorite. I've had some really good finishes here and some really humbling moments here too. So it's a love-hate relationship, and but I do like getting out here on this track. It's been quite some time actually. The oval time frame between races is starting to grow. I spend most of my time ovaling in the booth.
Yeah.
But a lot of fun out there right now, and 32 laps, almost at that halfway mark. You know, we're gonna see one more pit stop, guaranteed. You know, just when is that opportunity? So when's that opportunity? Will they come in at 50? Will they come in at 48? You know, when are they gonna come in and make that strategy call? And yeah, I could see, judgment here. If somebody took 4 tires, I could see that 2-tire stop. Somebody trying to make it work to see if it's enough time to make up on the track. But can they hold them same times with somebody on 4 tires? So seen it work. Seen 2 tires work here, Carl, multiple times.
Taking a look at the inter-family battle as they just put John Williams in an awkward spot there right in the middle of their little family squabble here as Dan Phelps goes to the top, Casey Phelps goes down to the bottom. Casey gets the better of it in regards to pulling away a little bit, but Dan Phelps certainly got a pretty fast number 85, looking to get around Casey here in turn number 3 and continue his charge towards the front. Biggest mover obviously is Shane Therian, up 17 spots up into 4th right now as he has gotten around Kelly Pointer via the pit stops. The biggest loser right now, no pun intended, is obviously Mark Gonzalez, losing 11 spots after starting in 9th, being involved in that early caution and having to tow back to the pits. He is still back there in 20th, 1 lap down. And right now with some guys coming in the pits, John Williams coming into the pits. Not sure if he had some issues or what the case was, but he's going to bring that 57 in. Mark Gonzalez is not in that lucky dog spot where he needs to be. He's got Jeremy Gainey currently in the lucky dog spot in the 45, just getting lapped by your leader, Alan Elwood, who is still enjoying a nice 3.5-second lead over Nico Garcia.
Yeah, Mark's just got reminded of the core motto and here early at Michigan. So obviously making a move there on the 72 as I think the 72 might have miscalculated some tire wear back there, so it's going to be struggling just a little bit, or as long as he can hold out for bringing that thing in here to continue. But yeah, 72 definitely not happy on his tire wear at the moment. Ooh, Shane Therian is in.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused. I'm kind of confused on some of these pit stops here, as I've seen, obviously John Williams come in. I've seen Matt Crockett come in. Now I'm seeing Shane Therian come in. I don't know if these guys are rushing the wall and we're not seeing they got some damage, or we got some varying pit strategies here, and some very interesting pit strategies here. Is that I'm not sure if that's going to fly right there, going up onto the track right there. We'll see if that results in a penalty for the 3. But nonetheless, I mean, we're just past halfway. We're on lap number 37 right now of 70. Are these guys coming in just for a little splash right now, knowing that they don't have that many sets of tires, and that way they can just run until they need one more pit stop, take those tires, and run it to the end? It's definitely interesting to see some of these drivers coming in now.
Yeah, I'm a little confused, but that's why I'm in the booth. I mean, I'm just trying. I don't have somebody down on the pits asking like, "Hey, what's the strategy here?" But yeah, it's definitely something just to keep an eye on. And is it something? It's not like the 3 of Shane Therian was slow. No, he's on the lead lap, and his teammate is, not very far behind him. To put him a lap, or is trying to maybe put him a lap down. So. I don't know, Carl. Very interesting. And then, like you said, that exit, I don't know if that resulted in Matter of fact, I can look. No, it looks like everybody is clear with flags. There's no like black flags out there right now.
Yeah, certainly it's weird on, you know, it's track by track basis. I mean, you do what he did right there at Charlotte, and he's definitely getting a penalty. So it's really tough to try and figure out the difference in the tracks. I know Charlotte is very, very touchy when you get anywhere close to that yellow line on exit for it being a penalty. Where it looks like the 3 is going to get away with it here tonight and continue on his way, and just gas and go in there in the pits. Didn't look like there was, you know, any kind of repairs unless he needed to come in and take a fast repair for some reason. So I think these drivers are just coming in, taking that splash, and now they'll run it until it's empty, get those tires, and be good to go to the end. So we should see one more pit stop from majority, if not the rest of the field. But it's really going to shake up this order here a little bit, and I'm wondering how it's going to play out. It's going to be very interesting, because if the drivers that came in so far with that little splash and dash, if they can, you know, just kind of keep pace and do well with these slightly worn tires compared to everybody else, they may be in the driver's seat when it comes to taking those tires late, because the drivers are probably going to come in for this next pit stop. You know, Alan Elwood, Nico Garcia, Daniel Wiles, all the drivers that were in front of them come in and take their tires maybe, you know, 5, 6, 7 laps earlier than the 3, and he's gonna be able to take those tires a little bit later and maybe have that late run. So we'll see again if the 3 can go from the back to the front. He's already charged all the way up to 4th before he came into the pits right there. So I mean, I don't count anything out, but he always seems to be the lone wolf in the Elwood Designs team, as he's always the one that starts from the back. He's always the one that has it seems like a different strategy every week. But yeah, certainly keep an eye on that 3. And now Caleb Collins gonna relinquish a spot in the top 10. He is into pit lane. So Jimmy, I don't think this is guys getting in the wall and getting some damage, and certainly now I don't think so. Nico Garcia into the pits as well. Now this could be the very early start of the second round of pit stops, because, you know, we had a bunch of caution laps in the beginning there, maybe 5, 6 caution laps to start this race, and they were only able to go about 23, 24 laps. So, you know, we could be seeing more pit stops than we realize here tonight.
Maybe. But I do know that 72 wasn't happy with tires. We're not surprised to see the 72 come down, but Nico Garcia coming down, it's probably a sure bet that, you know, things are happening. But, you know, we talked about the 3 and kind of like came down earlier. But isn't there one of the 3 drivers that doesn't have a win?
In regards to their team, yes, there is, and it's interesting that you point that out.
and who's the lone wolf?
Poor guy. I mean, just, you know, kick a guy when he's down. I mean, we've interviewed him. He's gotten in the booth, just not at the top step.
Stop being the lone wolf. Just having some fun. They usually has some great races, and you know, just that's when you see the drivers own, like you said, their own talent kind of come out and their decisions on, you know, when to bring that car in. They don't have a dedicated, you know, crew chief to be like, all right, everybody come in at this lap, and everybody, you know, your tires are doing this and your laps are doing this. These drivers are out here in the cars by themselves trying to figure all this stuff out and just have a great race and get the best finish they can, and try and give Alan Elwood an answer to keep him at bay. But Alan just continues to dominate each week, so it's definitely a cat and mouse type of game with a lot of those drivers. But right now it is Alan Elwood, Kelly Pointer, Dave Tilford in the top 3, Bryce Rayner, Craig Jancic, Josh Weston, Dan Phelps, Casey Phelps, and Tyler Bramble, and Diego Remy for your top 10 currently.
A couple more drivers coming in as Daniel Wiles comes in the pits. Nico Garcia was in the pits. We've seen that. John Crane in the pits. And now here comes your leader, Alan Elwood, in the pits. As we're taking a look here at Dan Phelps, he is certainly moving up through the field. Must have had some new tires on that 85, as we've seen him earlier battling with Casey, trying to move up through the field. And Casey stuck with him for the most part coming up through this field, as they are running a 6th and 7th right now. But we're certainly in the midst of pit stop number 2, and I think these drivers may be in line for one more pit stop. I'm not sure if they can make it all the way to the end from here, I mean, if we had five laps of caution to begin with, and they can only make 23 laps, I mean, it's going to be tight. At the very least, there's going to be a lot of saving to try and make this thing all the way to the end from lap number 45. Now clicking over to lap 46, but we're getting towards the end of this thing, and it's going to be very interesting. Kelly Pointer now, Dave Tilford also into the pits. Craig Jancic going to be at the front, and surprise, surprise, right there with them is Bryce Reiner, and these guys are, I don't know if they're teammates or not. Maybe they talk to each other and become teammates because, yeah, okay, they are. Never mind. That it makes a little bit more sense now. As it's been crazy how much you see these guys together, but that's what you need to do as teammates. The 90 once again following the 97, and Josh Van Weston is back there in third, quite a ways back, about 8.8 seconds behind the lead group right now. Well, it's Alan Elwood with another good pit stop. Looks like he only took either fuel only or 2 tires on that last pit stop, and is back out there.
Yeah, I was watching his pit stop there, Carl. That was a fuel-only stop there for the number 5. So we'll see how, if his pit stops were good enough to keep him out front. And I think he might find a little bit of pressure by maybe some of the other drivers, but being at the 5 next time in should have a set of tires to put on there to run this thing to the end. So definitely still finishing up some pit laps here, as a lot of people are gonna relinquish a lot of these spots. But it looks like the 85 is on his way in.
Yep, 85 Dan Phelps in, but taking a look at Shane Therian again. Why? It's because he has gotten the best of one of his teammates, Nico Garcia. He's got about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds ahead of Nico Garcia. You see him right here, not too far behind. So the early pit stop for the 3 has maybe gotten up some clean air and enough to be able to catch up and pass through the pit cycle the 51 of Nico Garcia. So a change up for the top 3, but with these pit stops being in weird positions, you see right now Bryce Reiner coming in from 2nd place into to pit lane. Everybody's coming in at different times, and I feel like everybody from the from about the halfway point needed to make one splash and dash and one maybe full pit stop to finish this thing out, and everybody's doing different things. So this thing is all kinds of mixed up, all kinds of weird. After it's all said and done, Alan Elwood is going to reset back up to the lead, but currently it is Craig Jancic out front, and really, Jimmy, all it takes is that one driver. You stretch it out, maybe a little bit on fuel. You've seen this man right here stretch it out a little bit longer than everybody else on that last run. Is Josh Van Weston to have something to try and sneak his way up here into a podium, a top 5. He wasn't too happy that he ended up being in the gold division. I probably don't blame him looking at the competition that's up there in the gold division, but he's up there for a reason. He keeps finding himself in good positions at the end of these races, and I mean, it's no surprise he's in 5th in the points right now. He's got one top 5, but 5 out of his 6 races are in the top 10, and that's what you need. You just need consistent, good finishes, and I guess unfortunately for him, it's put him in the gold division.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he just tries
to sucks to not suck, I guess.
Sorry,
oh, and there it is. The broadcaster's curse comes and bites the 121. It's a little bit loose coming into the pits. He's going to get it back going, and down pit lane, looking back there, the 82 also of Diego Remy getting sideways. I think these long runs here on these tires get them all kinds of hot and greasy when you're trying to slow down for pit lane. But out front by only 1.9 seconds now is Alan Elwood, because we got a new guy in 2nd. It's not Shane Therian. It is Daniel Wiles. It looks like he did take 4 tires on his pit stop, so he's trying to utilize them right now, trying to get everything that he can, and now here comes the pit stop from the 48. So this should be the last pit stop here for Daniel Wiles. Good entry right there, flying in there. So now Alan Elwood is going to be in the lead by 2.5 over his teammate, but it is Shane Therian that is going to be in 2nd place, still holding off Nico Garcia.
And Diego Remy getting This sounds like he got slapped with a 40-second penalty. So you're gonna see Remy and down in the pits.
Yeah, Van Westen looks like he's also got a 40-second penalty, as he is still serving that right now in his pit box with 121 and 82. Heartbreak for them. Looks like Mark Gonzalez has called it quits for the night, unfortunately. And man, it's great when we have these races that go green so long, but he had called that first caution like both Gonzalez and Tony Granville did. It's a heartbreaker because you're just driving around and you can't pass anybody for position unless you get a timely caution to get you back on that lead lap, and it sucks. It's a horrible feeling. I've been there, and it's not fun at all.
Yeah, pretty much like the end of your race, and it sucks when it happens that early because you're out here for about an hour or so, running around here doing the best you can, and when things go wrong in the first 10 minutes of your race, and without a track that is pulling out all kinds of cautions, and it's not a bad thing. It's obviously on the drivers that are out there to keep it clean and keep it green, and just an early fatal mistake. And those are the things that you need to try to avoid. So unfortunate for some of those drivers here tonight, but yeah, I'm just kind of curious and see Shane Therian now up there in P number 2. Nico Garcia is in P number 3. Kelly Pointer's in 4. Topher's back there in 5th. And Matt Crockett sitting up there was in 6th, just got passed there for 6th and 7th, and moves to 8th. And then Carol Collins back there, P number 9. Daniel Phelps, that 85 with that earlier incident, has found himself at P number 10. He's got Nico getting sideways. Woo! Nice catch by Nico Garcia coming down in the pits. I think what should be the final on last time.
Both the 3 and the 51 coming down together and leaving their teammate Alan Elwood all by himself. I know they keep saying they don't want to piss off the boss, but I think they're throwing caution to the wind here on this race, and they're trying to do something different to try and catch that 5, but it's going to be tough to catch here tonight. He's got a 9-second lead right now over Kelly Pointer, and just kind of cruising around right now. I think just saving some tires, and well, not saving too much as he's now coming into the pits. I don't know if I was going to say nice and clean, but had to lock it up pretty hard right there. We'll take a look and see if he's got any kind of issues when he gets to his pit box, but that's going to cycle the lead over to Kelly Pointer, who is now in 1st. David Toford less than a second behind him in a 2nd place. You see him just popping on the screen right there as Alan Elwood's going to get to his pit stall. Jimmy, we are down to 15 laps left in this race. This thing buzzed by pretty quickly once these drivers got to green flag racing, and it's got very interesting. Looks like Alan Elwood is going to be okay, does not get a penalty, but Daniel Wiles may have a strategy that can get him the win. He has got a pretty sizable lead right now over Alan Elwood as he tries a different strategy. He took his tires on the previous pit stop. Now Elwood's got the new tires, but he's got about 9 seconds that he's got to make up. Actually, about 8.5 seconds that he's going to make up on Daniel Wiles. And Wiles is just going to put that hammer down. He is going to do everything that he can to drive some great laps here. I know the tires are a little bit older, certainly older than the ones that are on Elwood, Therian, Garcia, but he's got a chance to steal one from EDE here tonight.
Yeah, and doing a good job. Like I said, there's a lot of strategy that can go into this track, between fuel, tires, and when to come in. So they're doing a great job right there. And then 48 Danny Wiles has had some great races and will definitely deserve a win here tonight with that great call off that carries out into his, deck of cars there. And also then got a lot of people kind of up front there in front of Elwood right now, maybe looking for a caution or anything they can do to get the edge on the 5. But right now it is the 75 and 97, the 90, 72, 85, 48, 17 before the 5, and then you have the 5, the 3, and the 51. So there's all them drivers out there having a good time here tonight. Still 13 drivers on the lead lap, so that's always a good sign, as well as the first car a lap down would be the number 11 of John Crane and Crockett, Williams, Van Weston, Remy, Dean, and then our 2 drivers that are out right now because of Austin Bertle.
So we are getting close to 10 laps to go. It's about time to crank these drivers up here in the CORE Xfinity Series and give everyone out there in CRN Nation a little love to hear it. So while we are under the love to hear it, Daniel Wiles was indeed caught by Alan Elwood and passed. He is now in 5th in between Elwood and Therian. But we're taking a look at a few other drivers that we missed. We've shown them so many times here tonight and just kind of overlooked it. But Craig Jancic and Bryce Reiner, you heard it under the love to hear it there, killing the engines or at least clutching it in going into these corners. And they are trying to get this thing to the end. They both last pitted on 49 and 48, respectively, for Jancic and Reiner. And I don't know. This is getting very, very interesting here to finish this out. And if they can make it to the end, then they're going to pull the wool over the entire field here, especially over EDE. But another one that is trying to stretch this thing out is in 3rd place. Dan Phelps is right here in the mix. He's got about 2-second lead right now over Alan Elwood and the rest of them. He pit on lap number 47. He's going to have to stretch it out. You can see Elwood in the distance closing in. Going to do everything they can certainly to hold them off, but this is getting very interesting late here at Michigan. Jimmy, I love it.
I mean, that's why I like this track car. You know, we talked about a driver can drive away on speed and whatnot, but strategy looks like it could be a huge factor here tonight. You know, obviously early caution kind of maybe working in favor of some of these drivers being able to do what they're doing right now. So, you know, it's a long shot, but sometimes, you know, when the drivers have the ability to run these long green flag races like this, it gives them time to execute a strategy call versus just raw speed on the track. So, and you love to see that as often as possible, and the drivers get to exercise something different besides just how fast you can get around somewhere. So, but these drivers have been consistent. They're pulling off a strategy right now, have the time to make it work, as they still have 11.5 seconds as we speak right now, with only 3 or 4 laps to go.
That is all that remains here. Coming onto the backstretch is Alan Elwood. He's got to make up 11 seconds to catch these leaders. I don't think he can do it just on speed itself. I know he's got some fresher tires by 6-7 laps compared to the top 2 guys right now, but 3 laps to go. Can they make the fuel last that long? You know, they aren't going to be battling each other until they absolutely have to. They're going to try and save all this fuel as the teammates and do whatever they can. The question is, Jancic has been the one that has been in the lead the most here. He did pit a lap later, so he's got that in the bank. But at what point does Jancic start having a little bit less fuel than Reiner, and maybe Reiner is the one that can push a little bit earlier and try and take a jump on him? There's a lot to play here. We've got 2 laps to go at the line. I know Barry is loving this out here. He picked Jancic early on for the win here tonight, and maybe it's going to pay off a little bit later than he expected, but paying off nonetheless. We'll see if this is going to work. 2 to go here. Only less than 4 miles now coming through turns 1 and 2. At what point can the 97 and 90 get on that loud pedal and actually race this thing to the end? We're about to find out. Elwood easily settled into 3rd place right now. 10 seconds behind these drivers and 3 seconds ahead of his teammates. So it looks like he's got 3rd place on lock. We're about to have a battle for the lead coming to the white flag. Reiner is on it now. White flag in the air, 1 to go at Michigan. Jancic in the lead, Reiner in 2nd, but all eyes on those tanks. Do they have the fuel in the tanks to make it to the end through 1 and 2? Still clean and still got that thing going, and you see Reiner pushing everything that he can to try and get it done, and now hard impact could give this win to Jancic. Coming out and now into turn number 3. Just got to make it back to the line. Sputter if you need to, but the 97 is going to get it done. They're going to steal one from EDE here tonight. Jancic taking home the win. Reiner coming home in 2nd. Love me some pit strategy. Love me some Michigan racing, Jimmy.
Out of nowhere, you know, just running a nice clean race and seeing the 90 Reiner just doing the best he could to maybe get around about his teammate there in the 97. You know, he talked about a little friendly bump and tag with the wall there. You see
Casey Phelps helping Dan Phelps get across the line there as he ran out of fuel and finished in 8th, so good job there. What a race, what a finish here. We'll take a look at the final results here as everyone crossing the line now, and man, what a finish. As you mentioned, your winner here tonight, Craig Jancic. 2nd place, Bryce Reiner, Alan Elwood, Shane Therian, and Nico Garcia making up your top 5. Then you got Wiles, Tilford, Dan Phelps, Pointer, Crockett, your top 10. A good finish there by both Dan Phelps and Matt Crockett from the bronze group. Caleb Collins, Tyler Bramble, John Williams, Joe Thomas, Josh Van Westen, Casey Phelps, Diego Remy, John Crane, and show me some more. There we go. Yep. Jeremy Gainey, Mark Gonzalez, and Tony Bramble going to round out your field, but it is Craig Jancic that is, I mean, he's got the fuel in the tank to do a little bit of burnout and everything. He's got this thing No problem. I guess maybe that wasn't Jancic. That is Reiner doing the burnouts for him, I guess. But what a finish. We'll get these drivers up here in the booth for an interview. But, I mean, Jimmy, you can't ask for much more. A long green flag run after an early caution, lap 1 caution. But these drivers put on one heck of a show. And I guess hats off to the pit crews and the crew chiefs as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to take in, and pretty great to see the strategy pull off here tonight. And these drivers deserve that podium finish there to finally best out the 5.
Well, let's go ahead and start bringing these drivers in for their interviews, and well deserved for sure. We'll start off with 3rd place here tonight, and it's going to be the man that we thought kind of had this thing under control once again, and that is the 5 of Alan Elwood. But man, a little bit of a wool pulled over the eyes there of your team, EDE, as it looks like the pit strategy maybe wasn't the correct one here tonight, but heck of a good run by you guys once again. I mean, if can you guys please talk to Shane and just tell him to qualify once, and maybe get up there and race with you guys early on instead of having to just battle his rear end off just to catch you guys?
I think for some reason he maybe just enjoys it more. I don't know.
Some guys like the torture. I don't know.
If you're going to do it anywhere, I guess Michigan too, right? Like wide open track, why not? Yeah, no, it's mixed emotions. I mean, hats off to those guys that got 1-2, Craig and Bryce. I don't really know that there's anything different that we could have done as a team. This type of situation tonight, with where the amount of fuel, how many laps we could run on the tank of gas, and the couple sets of tires that we have, really, like, probably more than any time so far in the last couple seasons that I've experienced, made it really difficult to figure out what to do. Because when you're at the very front, I've learned my lesson too many times about pitting at the wrong time and then get stuck in the middle of the field and get caught up in an accident. So at the front, you're especially here, you take advantage of that clean air, and I didn't want to give that up, and really none of us on the team wanted to. So at that moment in time, when I think most of those guys pitted and were able to top off, we didn't do that. So I think that was ultimately the difference in everything. Otherwise, I don't think we could have did anything different. But it really stinks, like, having the speed that we had. I feel like we could have snatched the top 3 again. And for it to come down to fuel and tires, or especially fuel at the end, really stings, because you feel like you could have got a better result as a team.
Yeah, I mean, we're typically used to seeing tons of just different lines and 3, 4, 5 wide battling through the corners, and it was kind of the 3, 4, 5 different pit strategies tonight that we seen. I mean, we've seen. I don't think I've ever seen a race that had so many different pit strategies from everybody in the field. I mean, not just from different teams, but even within the teams. I mean, even within your team, we've seen Shane come in about the midway point and just take his gas and go then, and we thought he was going to be good to go, and take a different strategy towards the end of the race. But I mean, it was pandemonium out there. There was so much that played out, and it's amazing what one little caution in the beginning can really throw off an entire race.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think if it had raced differently, if there were multiple lanes that you can move around and the cars were more racy tonight, I think it would have been different. I think we would have probably had no second thoughts to go and pit. But because, like, being out front was so crucial, and then especially being on, like, the front half of the field, you have to take advantage of that clean air because the car is so tight behind somebody. So like I said, if you could have passed and been more racy, I think it would have made an ultimate difference on our decision. But again, hats off to those guys. They were able to make it work. We weren't sure if they could, but they did. And sometimes it's just, I guess, in racing how the cards fall and the hand that you're dealt. So you just got to take it and move on and learn from it, really.
Well, either way, it could be worse. I mean, you guys do round out the top 5 and get 3rd, 4th, and 5th here tonight, and you coming home the best of the 3 there, getting a 3rd place finish, and you keep ahead of both Nico and Daniel Wiles there, as Wiles tried the differing strategy there and brings him home in 6th place. So got to feel good about the 3rd place here tonight, at least.
Yeah, it's pretty solid, and like you said, there's a big picture with, the point standings and keeping yourself consistent. So can't argue with that, and having the team all be in the top five. Shane, we're got to get on about the qualifying, but overall, you can't complain really. I don't think those guys were too disappointed in talking with them after the race either. So we're just going to take our lumps and move on and excited for the next couple weeks.
So last question, next week, Darlington, the Lady in Black. It is, you want to talk about a track that has got very few lanes. What's the outlook there? Is it just qualify as fast as you can, get out there in front, and just don't let anybody by?
I think so. If you recall last season, I got out front early, and then Moultrie got around me, and I was trying to save stuff, and it just didn't work. You got to be out front and dictate the race, your pace. So that's the ultimate goal is to be out front and lead laps, and know that at the end we had that crazy run of cautions and people pitting, and we tried tires, and just it was chaos there at the end of the last race at Darlington. So hopefully it's not that bad. Hopefully we get some green laps. I feel like we will. I think we got a good group here this season that can do that and see how the strategies play out again.
Yeah, I mean, if tonight's any indication, it was definitely nice and lean and clean out there after the early caution. But congrats once again on another podium, and most likely stretching out your lead in that point standings heading into the halfway point of the season. So before we let you go, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Just again, the EDE team tonight put in another great effort. Again, top five. We're knocking it out of the park each week right now, I feel like, and putting our best foot forward. So we're really catching our stride, and I'm loving that for the team. Simrat Market, Roderick Racing Development, you guys up here in the booth, appreciate each and every week you guys put on the show for the fans and letting them tune in and see what we're going through out on the track. It's awesome, and everybody here at the league, and yeah, it's been a good time. Let's keep it rolling.
All right, well, once again, congrats on the third place. We'll see you next week at Darlington.
Thanks, guys.
That's your third place finish here tonight, the 5 of Alan Elwood. Second place tonight was, pretty much right behind the man that finished at first, but just didn't have enough and maybe tried a little bit too much there coming off of turn number 2. But second place, Jimmy, is Bryce Reiner.
Hey, Bryce, Jimmy, and Carl up in the booth. Copy.
Yeah, I got you guys.
Either you guys had something for that 5 and the rest of the E-team down there tonight, able to pull some wool over the eyes there and sneak one in, finishing 1-2. And I seen there at the end, the last lap, you tried to push it a little bit harder to get around your teammate, just couldn't get it quite to stick, and met our friendly concrete friend, the wall, just a few times trying to finish this thing out. But anyways, you walk away tonight here with that great second place finish. Can you give us a little rundown of how your race was and when you decided to kind of settle down and maybe worry about fuel to the end?
Yeah, I think overall a great race up front throughout, although it definitely did spread out throughout the whole entire race. Me and my teammate Craig up there, we were just, we knew it was going to be close on the tires and the fuel with the amount of fuel we had and the laps that we have to run. So after that first caution came out, I think lap 1 or lap 2, we were debating on pitting or not. And we did pit after all. And I think it definitely was the right call for us. And then after like a couple laps, just to figure out where the fuel stands for us, then we kind of, were just riding around, clutching in, easy on the throttle, just using each other as a draft, and overall just kind of keep positions with me and Craig to be together the whole time. And turns out it worked out really well for us. Sadly, the last lap, he told me he heard me. I didn't clutch. So he kind of knew it was game on the last lap. So that was fun. But when you're driving the car and you're clutching in and you're not really using the tires, you don't really know how well your car is going to handle behind that one person in front of you or wherever you drive on the track. So it kind of stunk for me just to know that, I probably did have the car to get around them. I just got loose off of turn 1 and 2, and then I was right behind him, and I got tight, and then hit the wall, and then that was that. And I tried to dive it in deep into turn 3 and 4, but he just had too much of a gap on me after I hit the wall. But overall, it was a fun race. Wish it was more competitive with the fuel mileage and all that stuff, but overall, it was fun for sure.
Yeah, I'd say the early cautions kind of threw a wrench into things, like you said, and those choosing to use it to their advantage, obviously here up on top here tonight. So it's just the kind of the game that was played, and anything could change. Anytime. Caution comes out, whatever. But you guys executed a decision. Beginning of the race, stuck to it, made it work, and you find yourself here in second place. So for that, I want to say congratulations here up in the booth. But before we let you go, celebrate with your friends and family. Give you a little time that you might have for any shout-outs there on that number 90.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. It was fun racing with Craig, although we didn't race with others, pretty much. It was a great race, and P3 last week, P2 this week, and hopefully we can go for a win sometime soon. Sadly, it just slipped away from us this week, but definitely want to give a shout out to Craig for sure, my teammate. Digital Sim Sports, we carry through CSRL as well, another league that you guys cover, and through Core Racing as well. And family, friends who were watching, mom, dad, and my 2 buddies back home, Richie and Donlin, they were sitting down for the first time to watch this race, so they loved it. And shout out to you guys up in the booth as well.
Yeah, we always appreciate the shout outs, and always good to see people continue to succeed here on CRN. So again, congratulations, and we'll let you go celebrate with your friends and family.
Definitely. Thank you, guys.
That is your second place finisher here tonight, the 90 of Bryce Reiner. Finally, last one we'll bring in here is your winner here tonight, the 97 of Craig Jancic. And Greg, there were 21 cars in the field here tonight, but after that first caution, it felt like there was about 370 different pit strategies from the other drivers out there. So I guess the question is, at what point did you guys, clearly as a team, come up with the strategy that won you guys and finish in second tonight as well?
It crossed my mind. Thank you, by the way. It crossed my mind as soon as that first yellow came out, because I was doing the math on the pace lap before we took green, and I knew that you would optimally want to pit every 23 laps. You'd need one 23-lap run, one 24-lap run, and then 23 to the end. And you then look at what the fuel tank says, and when it says 19.8 laps, you go, well, that's not going to fly, because Core only gives us 2 sets of spare tires.
You're welcome for that.
Yeah. So what a fun event that we had here, because we had that lap 1 wreck, or lap 2. I honestly don't even remember. And it let, as soon as that yellow flew, I was like, yeah, topping off, because I don't have the pace to win one of these at a track like this. The 2-mile tracks are not my mojo to start with, and then you take all this fuel out of this car, and then it just doesn't turn. So I got to get smart and creative to get one of these, and smart and creative we got. I can't believe that nobody else did it. I know Shane Therian did it, but I don't know where he fell off the rails, because he should have theoretically been right there with us, but he pitted earlier the one time, and I'm not totally sure why, but it seemed pretty clear cut as soon as we got that yellow to me, I guess, would be the answer to your question.
So I guess the next question is, at what point could you guys finally put down that loud pedal? We had you guys kind of featured on the Love to Hear It when we were listening in there and hearing both you guys at either cutting off the engines or at least clutching in, going into the corners. At what point, what lap, how many laps to go, could you actually turn those cars a little bit loose, or could you at all? I mean, it looked like at least Bryce had enough to do a burnout for you after the checkered.
Yeah, Bryce had a little bit more than me from being behind me for that whole time. He could take advantage of draft a little bit more than I was able to, so it made sense that he had a touch more, which also scared the hell out of me, because I knew that he was going to have at least a little bit more than I could to push, no matter when that was. And for him, that was whatever that was that 2 to go, I think. He gave a stab at me the first time, and I could hear that he didn't have to clutch in. Yeah, it was 3 and 4 with 2 to go. I heard that he didn't have to clutch in because I still did. So I had one full push lap. The whole white flag lap was my only push lap since the yellow came out. And he had that little bit extra from all that draft. So when I heard him full song coming into 3, I was like, well, we're toast here. But I still managed to have a pretty good corner because the tires were so killed. And then he just got stuck in my wake in 1 and 2 on the white flag lap, and he was never going to be able to get out of it. And unfortunately, he got himself so tight that he just pushed all the way out to the fence. And that was all that I needed to be able to do it. It was that simple, as you like to mock me for there, buddy.
That's it. It's that simple.
It was that easy.
Yeah.
It only took 69 laps of commitment.
Exactly. Well. Either way, sometimes you put the hammer down the entire time. Sometimes you have to play the strategy, and it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, that number 1 shows up alongside your car. That's all that really matters. So, congrats on the win here tonight. And who do you want to give a shout out to or celebrate to?
Yeah, the biggest thanks to you guys at CORE. So glad to be a part of one of your actual sanctioned leagues. Thanks also to CSRL, because without that, I wouldn't even be sitting here today probably. So kudos to all my homies in CSRL. Team Conti Sim Performance, finally get them a win on the oval side here on CORE. It's good to show off the oval side of your companionship in the oval side, and Studio 3, Digital Sim Sports, Free Beer and Hot Wings Morning Show, Sim Magic, Mom, Dad, Auntie, Anna, thank you for watching. Every little thing I do here is my biggest fans, and I'd be nothing without y'all, so thank you. And I look forward to at least Carl. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow night. Hopefully it's going to be a wet one. Did you bring your umbrella to Germany?
Absolutely. I mean, I would expect nothing less. Got to mix it up a little bit. Got to challenge you a little bit. Just like tonight. We had to challenge you a little bit. Maybe you could think. It's easy. You're only just going about 200 miles an hour. You got time to think out there.
Yeah, it's all I do, actually. My brain never turns off.
All right. Well, congrats once again. We'll see you next week at Darlington.
Thank you, brother. Take care.
That's your winner here tonight, the driver of the 97, Greg Jancic. And, man, I mean, I said before the race, Jimmy, I'll say it again. Damn, if I don't love some 2-mile tri-oval racing.
Yeah, it's one of the best one of the best tracks on the service, I think. I mean, there's a lot of great ones, obviously, and this one's like one of my favorite as far as ovals go. And yeah, it can obviously, some drivers are like, oh, I wish it wasn't a fuel mileage race, but another caution could have happened, and definitely would not have been a fuel mileage race. So it's just how well these drivers drove tonight, and the beginning of the race, where they had the yellow flags, it really played a huge role in some of the drivers' decisions tonight, and that's what allowed obviously our top 2 to make an early decision and be able to just keep and check with that strategy and make it work to the end. So definitely it can pay out in either ways. But Alan Elwood not too far back from these two, on that pure basically speed. So, and great pit stops, pretty much all night long. So one escape from them tonight, but that's what sometimes it takes to best the best that's out there. So, but great racing by the drivers overall, and for the most part, I would really look forward to I'd do it again. I'd rewatch them all over again, just like I'm going to next week.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's some leagues and there's some drivers out there that just that love super speedways, and that's all they want to do. And there's some drivers that love short tracks or love dirt tracks, whatever it may be. I mean, I never understood why some leagues would run a super speedway only series or a short track only series. I could totally understand why someone would run a 2-mile only series. It's just it's always great. I mean, if it's not the racing on the track, it's the strategy that came down to it here tonight. And Jimmy, I don't think I've ever seen a race that had so many different strategies. I mean, you look up and down, SDK as far as when drivers came in the pits, and numbers are all over the place. I mean, there's very few that you can see matching numbers for drivers coming in at the same time. It's crazy how many different strategies we had here tonight, but it certainly paid out for our first 2 drivers here tonight, Jancic and Reiner. and digital esports, but it was not worth not a short effort there from EDE and Elwood, Therian, and Garcia coming home and rounding out the top 5. But all the drivers here tonight, great job out there. I know Mark Gonzalez and Tony Bramble certainly would like to have a little bit better start to the race, and unfortunately that was a very early demise for both of them. But great run by everybody out there. Thanking everybody that tuned in here tonight to CRN for the CORE Xfinity Series. Barry, congrats on picking the winner here tonight. Pretty early there, grabbing Jancic, and it for quite some time didn't look like it was going to pay off. But well, sometimes you just gotta wait. Sometimes you have that horse that's a closer, and he certainly came in to the finish line and first. It was a great one here tonight. Tune in next week for Darlington, the Lady in Black, and it's certainly going to be a different monster. It is a track that is wide, probably almost as wide as Michigan, but you can't drive on 90% of it. It's going to be the drivers at the top of the track. It's about 2 lanes wide at best, so it is going to be tough action out there. And oh, by the way, even if you're driving by yourself and trying to keep a good line, the lady is out there to try and put some stripes on the side of the track and the side of the car. So gonna be a good one next week, in 2 weeks. We are off next week, so it'll be in 2 weeks. But hope you join us then. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe. Get you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer. But for myself and Jimmy here at the beautiful Michigan International Speedway, we'll see you at the track.
Peace.